sports fans, to Week 6 of Inside the Eagles Nest. As always, I'm Kevin Tosh, along with my partner in crime, Justin Hall. Well, Justin, Week 5 of the high school football season is in the books. Franklin County is going to move to 4-1 on the season with a big win over Bassett High School last Friday night, 34-13. Go ahead and tell the fans some of your views before we get to some of the stats and highlights from the game.
Well, Franklin County came out clicking. I mean, they scored a combined 5 touchdowns on the night, got their running game going a little bit. Still didn't get to work on the passing game as much as I know I would like to hope for, getting ready for the big Christiansburg matchup next week. But all in all, Franklin County's offense came out. It rolled through Bassett, looked good, had to give the kids some confidence and everything. Defense was spot on like always, really didn't give Bassett up too much. I mean, they allowed a couple big plays from their running back and their quarterback, but other than that, the Franklin County defense shut them down as well.
That's right. It's a really, I think, a good game for Franklin County, a good opponent before we go into this week against Christiansburg, which we'll talk about later. Like you said, the Franklin County offense able to find a little bit of momentum. Like you said, the passing game's still lacking a little bit. Kyle Ellis had Terrell Basham on one play, unmanned, and he just underthrew him. But that's just young players, young nerves. That's a hard throw to make when the player's wide open.
Yeah, just couldn't believe he was wide open.
That's right. I think the coaches rushed him a little bit. You know, they were anxious wanting to get the ball snapped. But like you said, Franklin County's running game was finally able to start to click a little bit, and we saw some good yards. Alex Keys had 74 yards and 3 touchdowns. Chance Tyree, the fullback, we're starting to see a lot about. I believe this is his second straight game going over 100 yards. He went over 100 yards last week against Magna Vista. This week he had 105 yards and 1 touchdown. But Bassett had 2 really good players able to run the football. First, Deshaun Valentine off of an injury. He didn't get to play against Christiansburg. He had 145 yards on the ground. And then the other running back in the backfield, Daniel Martin, 105 yards, 1 touchdown. Kind of a costly penalty after that touchdown. Won't say a whole lot about. They had an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Coach Jay Gilbert for Bassett really upset about something. Really no explanation of what he got upset about. He got 2, maybe 3 personal foul penalties right in a row. He was ejected from the game, but really at that point, that really shifted the momentum towards Bassett. But Franklin County was able to regain control because before the extra point snap, head coach Chris Jones got a personal foul penalty of his own because he wanted a timeout, and he had to run out on the field to get the timeout. Bassett made the extra point. They made him re-kick it, and Franklin County blocked it. That's how we got the score of 13. Like I said, really good game against Bassett for Franklin County. They needed a good opponent, kind of like Bassett, where they were able to get their running game going in between a Magna Vista team. And this week we're going to talk about Christiansburg. So is there anything else you want to talk about this week's game against Bassett before we go to the break?
Nope, that was a good game for the Eagles. It was a good, solid, all-around game for the Eagles.
That's right. I know Chris Jones, the head coach for Franklin County, has got a lot of things that he really wants to keep working on in practice because they've got one more non-district game here against Christiansburg this week before they enter 4 straight weeks of Western Valley District play, which everybody knows that's really what matters going into playoff time. So we're coming back up after the break. We'll talk about this week's game against the Blue Demons from Christiansburg. Welcome back to Inside the Eagles Nest. We've recapped last week's win over Bassett, but this week's going to be a little bit different story as Franklin County travels north on 220 and then south on 81 as they travel to Montgomery County to take on the Blue Demons of Christiansburg. Christiansburg's coming into this game 4-0 on the season, #1 AA school, ranked by Virginia Preps in the state. Justin, tell us a little bit about Christiansburg.
Well, first off, Kevin, Christiansburg is coached by Tim Cromer. He's been there since 2002 and compiled a 59-27 record up at Christiansburg. Last year, they lost in the state semis for the 2nd year in a row. Lost to Harrisonburg 28-21 in a double overtime snow thriller up there. I mean, I know it was hard for the boys, but I mean, they really played their butts off last year. I can't talk about Christiansburg without talking about their quarterback, Brendan Motley. Brendan Motley is probably the most heavily recruited player in Christiansburg since the late 80s. He had scholarship offers from UVA, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, and finally in the past 4 or 5 months he committed to play football for the Virginia Tech Hokies. And so basically Tom Lemming from ESPN wrote that he has a live arm, he makes great decisions, he's not fast but he's quick, he's got a long stride. He also noted that he could also play free safety at the next level as well. He's talented on both sides of the ball. Last year, he attempted 93 passes, connected on 50 of those for 982 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's pretty impressive when you look at they run a wing T. So, I mean, like Franklin County, they're going to try to jump out and pass as well. A couple other players you might want to look out for. Zach Snell, their running back, so far has rushed for 291 yards this year and 5 touchdowns. Also received for 127 yards and a touchdown. There's also their speedy running back, Cam Johnson, also rushed for 232 yards and 4 touchdowns. Where Brendan Motley has passed for 375 yards this year and 6 touchdowns, with his key target being Zach Davis. He's only received for 117 yards, but three of those big catches were touchdowns. What about the defense, Kevin?
I'll tell you, before I get into the defense, just one thing that you can tell about Brendan Motley is the fact that he was recruited by Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech really, in their quarterbacks, in that type of offense, they're not looking for a really, really fast speed guy. They're looking for that quickness. And now the way they're starting to throw the ball a little bit more, I think Franklin County's got to watch out for Brendan Motley. But as far as defense goes for Christiansburg, they have a really stout defense. They're allowing just under 6 points per game, less than a touchdown a game through their first 4 games. Leading tacklers there, junior linebacker Calvin Graham. He's got 43 tackles and 1.5 sacks on the year. With fellow linebacker Adam Scott, another player you have to look out for, who has 36 tackles, an interception, a fumble recovery, and a defensive touchdown. So really strong linebacking core there for Christiansburg. They're not real big. Graham's only 5'9", 145. Scott's only 6 foot 180, so not really big linebackers, but with that size, they have to be fast. They have to be really good tacklers, consistently producing 10 tackles a game. Also, you're going to have to watch out for the anchor on the defensive line, their nose guard, Irvin Buchanan. He's got a sack and 22 tackles. He's a returning all-group AA player from last year. So they're a really stout defense. They're used to seeing this wing T offense day in, day out. But Franklin County's defense is used to seeing this wing T day in, day out. Their defense is really almost a mirror image of each other. They've got really good interior defensive line play and amazing linebacker play, where they really don't have to use their safeties and their cornerbacks as much. So I think the key to one of the keys to this game is who can get a passing game going. Brendan Motley, Kyle Ellis, big receiver, Terrell Basham, Zach Davis, tall receivers. I mean, this team, size-wise, speed-wise, to a certain degree, talent-wise, they're almost mirror images of each other. This could be a really good game. Justin, what are your overall views on this week's game?
Well, Kevin, when I look at Franklin County, one word that comes to me is battle-tested. Franklin County played Salem, played Magna Vista, played tough teams. You go back looking at Christiansburg's schedule, they played Group A Floyd, beat them 49-0. Played Group A Giles, had a scare there, only beat them 20-10. Then they finally jumped up and played 2 AA opponents in Carroll County and Bassett, which Bassett they beat 47-0. There's a component we have together. So, but combined on those 4 teams, they're combined 6-12 on the year. And Christiansburg has outscored them 168-23. So really, Christiansburg's not battle-tested like Franklin County is. Granted, this offensive group of guys, they're the same offensive group of guys that took them to the state playoffs last year, and they are a threat any day of the week. Just like the wing T offense of Franklin County, anytime they can score a touchdown. But yet this year, I just don't know if they're battle-tested enough with Franklin County's size, Franklin County's speed to come in and hit them in the mouth. A lot of people are expecting this to be a pushover game for Christiansburg after Franklin County's troubles with their offense this year, but I don't see it that way. If Franklin County can keep their offensive consistency going like they did against Bassett, maybe they can, I always say this, smack Christiansburg in the mouth and let them know that we're here to play and we're just as good as they are. What about you, Kevin?
Well, Justin, I'm going to agree with everything you said. Christiansburg not battle-tested this year, but does it matter? 12-1 last year, returning 7 of the 11 starters on defense. They see the wing T day in, day out. This Christiansburg ball club really, really tough.
Very good.
Franklin County's just now starting to get their offense moving. I just really hope this doesn't put the brakes on that Franklin County offense. They had a really good game against Bassett. Christiansburg has the potential to really stop them. With this type of offense, I know both of them are really explosive backs, can score points, but both teams are going to be trying to chew this clock up with his wing T offense. So it's going to really be tough, but as far as I believe that Christiansburg is going to come ready to play, but as always, AA school playing a AAA school, just throw that out the window. These are 2 AAA talented schools. Both of them have the size of it, and I'm not going to ask you for a prediction here, but what is going to be the key to the game this week?
It's definitely going to be ball control. Like you said earlier, that who knows how many touches Franklin County is going to get with both teams playing ball control offense. Franklin County can keep Christiansburg off the field. Christiansburg can't score. So if we chalk up 8-minute drives, 9-minute drives, and we have 2 of those in the first half, that only leaves 12 minutes for Christiansburg to potentially have to control the ball. So that's my thing. Ball control offense, of course, turnover free. Can't give Christiansburg the ball deep in their own territory.
Well, Justin, I believe I'm going to agree with you there. It's going to be ball control. But I'm just going to add a few things here. Franklin County this season has had a really tough time. Once they move the ball inside the red zone, they've done a good job chewing up the clock, getting the ball in the red zone. I want to be able to see against a tough defense, are they going to be able to score when they get in the red zone? It's a good thing to chew up 9 minutes on the clock, but when you chew up 9 minutes on the clock and you don't score any points, that really comes back to hurt you. Also, one of my keys for the game is just going to be Brennan Motley. I'm going to give you two other names here. Mike Majette, quarterback from Woodbridge. Really big game against Franklin County. Franklin County came away with the win. Harvey Taylor, quarterback from Magna Vista. Had a really good game against Franklin County. Magna Vista takes the win. Brendan Motley has to be better than these two.
Oh, definitely.
More athletic-wise. Not taking anything away from those other 2 players. Harvey Taylor showed that he was a great player against Franklin County.
Passing and throwing. He passed for over 400 yards against Pulaski last week.
But the pure size of Brendan Motley and the pure athleticism, my key to the game is simply Brendan Motley. Does he come out and is he able to throw in this Franklin County defense? Is he able to execute the wing T offense to perfection? If he does, this could get really out of hand for Franklin County. I don't see that happening though. But if Franklin County is able to contain him and do all the things you said, this could be a really tight game. This is really a toss-up. If Christiansburg comes out flat, Franklin County could jump on them. If Franklin County comes out flat, Christiansburg can jump all over them. This is one of those games, throw the stats out the window, throw everything out the window. This is the first time they've played in a long time. I think it's going to be a really good matchup. Anything you want to add here? Kind of running out of time, Justin.
Go Eagles.
Justin says go Eagles. We'll have to see if Christiansburg's ready to play a team like Franklin County. We'll also see if Franklin County's ready to show what they're made of as they travel to Montgomery County to take on the Christiansburg Blue Demons. We expect all of you Franklin County fans and any other fans that are watching, it's going to be a great game in Christiansburg. We encourage you to come out and watch. Support your favorite team. If you don't make it out to that game, get out to some game on Friday night. Support your local teams. These kids work out every day, big practices. Get out and support them. And once again, we thank you for coming to Inside the Eagles Nest. We're really enjoying what we're doing. Keep it up. As always, don't forget, Twitter, FC Insider, Justin Hall 04. We're actually doing game updates now.
For now.
Let me scratch that. He's doing game updates. I'm a little bit busy at times, but he's doing a really good job putting the game updates out. We'll do the best we can. Once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for visiting the website. You know, Justin, that's all we can say. It's a good night.
Yeah.